Hi guys, and welcome to Essential Motion Graphics Training. In this lecture, you are going to train on how to animate the stroke and create a pop-up circle with a shadow also. After you learn how to animate the stroke for a circle, you will be able to create other animations that are even more fantastic. Let's create a new composition and we call it POP circle, and we are going to use the stroke. So I will write stroke. Cool. So you know when you download your file, you know exactly what we were working on. So I will start by creating my first circle. I choose the circle from the toolbar, click and drag, press shift, and I have a nice big enough circle. I'm in the habit that every time I create a circle or a square or a shape, I will come to the ellipse here, go immediately to the ellipse transform or the shape transform, go to position and put it to 0, 0. At this point, the shape will center itself in the middle of the shape layer also, hence in the middle of the composition. This is a very good habit because later on, if I want to add some transformations, you know, it's already in the middle. Maybe if I'm creating another one, I'll move it. Let's start animating this circle. We will open the circle path and we want to work with size. Let's make the size, for example, 250. So that's the original size. We come to 1 second and we keyframe the size. Then we come to the beginning and put the size at 0. So now I have the circle just growing, but notice it's not scaling up. We are not using the layer scale and we are not using the transform. Why is that? Because when you use the size, the stroke does not change size. If you have used the transform for the scaling, I will show you, the stroke also is scaling up and down, and this is not beautiful in this kind of animations. So you want to keep the stroke constant while you are animating the size. That's one. So we have our circle growing. Now let's animate the stroke. I will come to the stroke and I have stroke of 28. I will keyframe the stroke. After half a second, for example here, I'm going to hike the stroke to a certain value. For example here, that is up to your taste. I will put here 65. Cool. And then at 1 second, I'm going to drop it back to 0. And then look at the animation now. It's quite nice. It grows and fade away. This is one way to animate this. I will press U anywhere and get the keyframes. I can select all the keyframes, press F9 to give them an easy ease. You can come and play with the graph. For example, I will play with the graph of the size, you know, bring it faster, something like this. I can play with the graph of the stroke, a bit complicated here. It's going to go up and down. You can do something like this, for example, where it goes faster in and faster out. Here you are. Look at the animation, quite cool. And it happened because of the easy ease here. You can come and decide, okay, the 88 here or the 65 here is too big. Then you can reduce it, for example. And let's see our animation. Pretty cool. So the circle will grow and it will grow its stroke, and then all of them will go to 0. That's pretty nice. Maybe we reduce the time now. We make it less than 1 second and see the effect. Not bad. You have a very nice pop-up circle. Cool. Now I'm going to add some shadows, and shadows are very important. Now, if I come to the layer and go layer styles and add a shadow, I can add only one shadow. Let's try. I will drop one shadow, go back to layer styles and drop another shadow. I cannot have two shadows. I want to have two shadows. I will delete layer styles. I will go to FX and preset and look for a shadow. Well, actually there is, you know, I know After Effects. I will take that drop shadow and put it in. I can take another drop shadow and put it in. Oh wow, I can have many shadows. Well, that's pretty clever. If let's put the second shadow off. If I change here the colors to something beautiful, for example, I take this one, that's gray, and then opacity, I'll make it, I don't know, anything, it doesn't matter. Move the angle and move the distance to here. Opacity is too high, we reduce it a bit, we could reduce the color. Fine, I'll put on the second shadow and look what's gonna happen. I'm gonna change this color, take it to some kind of yellowish here. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it 100%, for example, and move the distance and change the angle to this side, for example. So we have two shadows here. But it looks like we have two circles, each having a different kind of shadow. So let's put the second shadow off And then we have the first circle that has a shadow that is gray, right? And we have the second shadow, that is the second shadow, and the top shadow is giving another shadow for the second shadow. Now this is fine, but the colors is a mix. So what I will do, I will take the second shadow, I will turn down both of them, take the first shadow and put it under. And here you are, you have two different shadows, and it looks like you have 4 circles. Of course, you can come and play with the opacity, reduce the opacity a bit, reduce the distance or increase the distance like this, and change the angle. Okay, just put it like this. And here you are, you have 2 shadows, and you have a nice pop-up. You notice we didn't do 4 circles, we did 1 circle and we applied 2 shadows, and they are very easy to control. I will come to the shape layer now. I will choose ellipse 1 and get greedy. I'm okay with the animation and the speed. There is no change. I will duplicate ellipse 1. I will come over here where I can see them, take ellipse 2 and move it over here, for example. Anywhere you want, you know, you can just mix them. Duplicate again and move it over here. Whatever you want. And maybe if I press U, I will get the keyframes. I know size and stroke are with one layer. Can move this one out here and take this one, move it maybe further here, and see exactly what kind of animation I have. 1, 2, 3. Cool, it's working. So you see how easy is it, guys? Just learning well what elements or what techniques you have under your hand. Using drop shadow from effects has changed the whole animation, and this is all about motion graphics. You have got to learn After Effects. Now let's get greedy a bit. Let's add even more. We take ellipse 3, we duplicate it, and then we open the U again, and we know this is ellipse 3. We can see it. In fact, we move it, and we move it on the motion here. Let's put it over here or anywhere you want, I don't know. And then you have a fourth one coming in, and it's quite cool. Cool, guys. These guys are coming together. This is not very nice. Let's take this one and move it even further away, just over here, and here you are. Still, this one is very far. Okay, you will tweak it by yourselves. So this is about creating some pop-up circles, and you want to come adjust the shadows, make it to your taste, put your character inside, see what you like. Maybe you don't like the yellow, look at the opacities here, how can you make them better, and start creating your first asset, which is pop-up circle. So actually you don't want to put all of them here. What you want is to put only one ellipse. That will be your asset, and later on you can duplicate them in another composition and create the pops I have created for you. In the next lecture, we're gonna take a circle with a fill and also animate it using the same techniques and a bit more.